Hi everyone, welcome back to our New York homestead. Today we are going to be taking a tour of my minimal farmhouse kitchen. I'm going to be taking you through bits and pieces of different footage showing you all around my kitchen and how I make this tiny space work for me and my husband. So starting off in a spot that isn't truly my kitchen, but I could not include it because it takes up a large part of our kitchen. It is our eat-in space. We have this table, which we enjoy meals at, and also becomes part of a catch-all with a basket here in the corner, right by the front door. We put all of our little knick-knack bits and pieces that we don't want to lose right in that basket. We have a spot for mail, and then a spot of things I need to return to others. But this table is a big part of our small minimal kitchen. And if we circle back around, we have our refrigerator. Nothing super special about a refrigerator. It is definitely an old school classic refrigerator. You don't even have a light in the freezer, but it works perfectly well. I would definitely consider it vintage. It has been here for quite a long time, and I'm sure it will outlive most refrigerators that my husband and I will have in the future. My coffee nook center, and we actually put this over here. We originally had, I think it was my utensil caddy was over here originally, but then we were able to put an extension cord behind the stove so we could get some electric over here, and I could plug in my little espresso machine. I love saying it's how I get my coffee every single morning. And if we have any faults in this kitchen, it is that there is one, well, I guess you could say two outlets. One is behind the stove and the other one is inside of this cabinet over here. So if you've watched and paid any attention to how I kind of have things set up and rigged, you'll kind of understand why things might look a little bit funky. I have never talked about it all the way, but I will go through it in detail in this video. But coffee nook over here, and then again, stove, very vintage stove, a classic stove. And it has been here, again, many years. It will be here for many years after we're gone. It is a Magic Chef stove. It is gas, which is 10 times better than our last apartment, which had electric. I was not used to working on electric at all. I was definitely more comfortable with gas, and now we're back with gas, and I love it so much. Something different that I do here that I did not do at our last apartment is this is it when it comes to most of my bakeware. I have a couple of sheet trays that I keep underneath the stove, and then I also have a couple of 9x13, 8x8 pans, but this is it. I just have a cast iron, a big cast iron pan. We have been collecting this Revereware copper bottom pots at the thrift store whenever we go out. We really enjoy those, so we have two of those size pots, one bigger-ish pot. We're missing a small one that I have that is drying, and then also just another teeny tiny little cast iron one. But this is it, and it all sits out here. It's just easier, and I don't have a bunch of cabinet space, so this has been what has worked for us. And then I also just keep out my tea kettle. And then on the back of my stove, I have this basket that I got from Hobby Lobby this past fall with a whole bunch of my most common used spices ready to go. And as I mentioned before, it's just a regular stove on the inside. I do keep my Dutch oven in here. It was a little bit wet, so that's why the top is off of the base. Towels, obviously. And then all my sheet pans underneath. And there are two sets of 4 tiny little drawers all around the stove as well. In this top drawer, I like to keep my essentials that I reach for all the time. So we have bench scrapers, wooden spoons, can opener, milk frother, stuff like that. The drawer below that has just some more things I typically go for. I have silicone spoons and spatulas, a juicer, and lots of extra chip clips. This third drawer is all of the metal utensils and stuff that I use. So sifters, strainers, ladles, big spoons, ricers, whisks, all kinds of stuff like that. And there's a bottom final drawer, kind of has the most random bits and pieces in it. I keep my food scale in here, and lots of tea and hot chocolate, and some cocoa powder, and also the coconut oil I currently am using is just this one from our local grocery store. That also lives down here as well, but it's kind of just a mosh podge of random bits and pieces that don't really have a space. our forks, spoons, butter knives, reusable straws, coffee filters, cake testers, paring knives, all kinds of stuff like that. In this middle drawer, it is mainly my baking drawer. So we have a lot of our main knives in this little caddy compartment here, but then I also have all of my measuring spoons, measuring cups, and all the attachments for my KitchenAid. In this third drawer here, it is just all of our plastic wrap, tin foil, wax paper, parchment paper, all of that lives in here. And in our final drawer, we have a whole bunch of bowl and plate koozies back here, and then all of our plastic storage bags as well. And as we make our way around, I have this little spot in the corner here with my salt, pepper, butter, olive oil, a little decorative basket that I got from my sister-in-law, and then a small little shelf of storage, got that from Target, where I just like to keep everything housed. And then that brings us over into my sink and dish section. Nothing really too crazy to explain here. It is just a sink where we keep our dishes. Something different about this place compared to our last apartment, if you ever saw videos of me there, is that we don't have a dishwasher, which I thought was going to bother me a lot more than it does. I really don't mind not having a dishwasher. Sometimes do I wish we had the convenience of a dishwasher? Yes, but it is not the end of the world not having a dishwasher. In these cabinets, I keep my pasta maker attachments. I have my big canning pot back here, some bread bannetons, pie tins, little lettuce dryer, air fryer, extra large baking sheets and stuff like that. That all lives in here. And it is very dark in this kitchen. I try my best to light it up the best I can when I film videos, but even for us, for basic use, it's still pretty dark. So I bought just these stick and press lights from Amazon to illuminate these cabinets, because it looks brighter on camera than it is right now, but it gets pretty dark in here. So I have those as well. That also kind of carries us into this small cabinet area. I just keep cleaning supplies down here. It's right underneath the sink. As we move around here to my favorite workspace up top, below again is just more storage. We have my Vitamix down here, crock pots over here, extra glass bowls, food processor, all that stuff lives in these cabinets along with my mixer. And as I said, this spot over here is where all my baking, cooking, and everything magic happens, is right over here. It is the largest amount of counter space that I have. It's on this side, and I love it. It's right by the window. It is super nice when the sun is shining through here. It is a beautiful spot. I have my little lamp that I made a while ago. I did a video all about this lampshade here, where I mentioned it in a homemaking vlog. I have sourdough breadcrumbs, some sugar, some dried roses, and then I also have my hard wheat for when I want to make some fresh flour. My little utensil caddy and my little vintage crock down here, flour, and some cutting boards. And in these upper cabinets is where we keep a lot of our glass cups. We have mugs over here, more mugs, cups, travel cups, shaker blender bottles, travel coffee mugs, and then coffee, more tea that I am drinking on the regular, more coffee, more little storage water bottle type containers. But I do have some of my vintage mixing bowls right up top here, a big glass pitcher for iced tea and everything. And then I keep my liquid measuring cups, some koozies, and then also cream baking dish as well. I totally skipped over, and this is where we keep all of our main plates, bowls, mixing bowls, and storage, glass storage containers as well. And this leads me to our big tall mystery cabinet over here. So inside here we basically just have a linen closet essentially. We have just random bits and pieces, different things. I have oily dry shampoo here, but then we also have like a medicine little cabinet, tissues, extra body wash, shampoo, towels. I have my iron back here, small little washcloths, linens, all that kind of stuff lives up here. I do try to hide it most of the time because it doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing, but I have this little cord, extension cord over here. The second outlet that's in here is in the back of this cabinet, so we do have a little extension cord running so I can plug in my mixer or the Vitamix or whatever. We have easy access to plug it in over here. The last side of my kitchen is these cabinets that sit above the stove and my espresso machine. This is basically our pantry in these 4 cabinets. On this side is all my baking stuff, so I have my flour, my sugar, any extra salts or coconut sugar, recipes. I have my recipe notebook that I use all the time in here, my playlist where I have my favorite recipes. All those have come from this book, so that stays up here. That is where all of my baking stuff lives. And then in these middle cabinets is where we keep more of our dry goods. So we have rice, pasta, sauces. I have my honeys up here. We have chicken rub, pork rub, tomato sauce, soup, tuna, grains, almond butter, all the things live up in this cabinet. And then finally, on this far side, we have a big old box of cereal, but we do keep some more dry goods up here. We have cranberries and freeze-dried strawberries, stuff like that, crackers, other rice cereals, some vegetable oil that I do not use very often. That lives up there. And then this bottom area is where I keep all of my extra spices and seasonings that I'm not using all the time. So on the very top of this cabinet over here, I have a couple of extra mason jars, but in that brown basket, I keep more of my bulk seasonings. So I've gotten bulk onion powder, garlic powder, minced onion, all from Azure Standard, and I just keep all those extra little baggies in that brown basket. And up above our plates and bowls cabinet, I have most of my mason jars. They hang out up here, that way they're out of the way. The cat can't reach them. And just like that, that is a tour of my small, minimal kitchen. I love this kitchen so much. I love it so much more than our last kitchen. It is just so cozy and homey to me. I really enjoy baking, creating, and just house living in this space. I hope you enjoyed this video too. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. I make 2 new videos every single week on all things sourdough, homemaking, and country living. Leave me a comment down below for what your favorite area in this space was. I am going to try to have what the square footage of this space is in the description box or in the thumbnail, something like that, so you guys know exactly how big this space is. It really, I feel, comes across bigger on camera, but it is pretty small, especially with the eat-in table and everything in here. So I hope you enjoyed touring my kitchen with me today, and I will see you in my next video.